Hi, I'm Peter McQuaid, and I'm with the Haight Street Art Center, as you may know, and I'm coming to you today from Sonoma County, California, which is above San Francisco, with the first installment of a program we're developing. It's going to be called In the Artist Studio. From time to time, we will reach out to artists that you're friends with, that you know, and ask them if we just come to visit and see where they work, what they do, let them talk about whatever they might want to talk about. And today, it's really great because we're here with Stanley Mouse, who's a dear friend and a friend to anybody who loves the type of art that we all celebrate. So Stanley, thank you for allowing us to come up here. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
What you guys are going to see here is only a glimpse of what this place has. It's amazing. It's like 60 years of work. There's things that are 2 weeks old, and there's things that are 20 years old, and there's things that are 40 years old in these premises. It's really a museum in itself, and we're privileged to even have the chance to come here for a few minutes and take a look at it. I also want to say that we at the studio, at the gallery in San Francisco at the Art Center, in February opened a retrospective of Stanley's work, which is magnificent, and due to the coronavirus, we had to close. It was only open 3 weeks, and it's still there now, and I hope that when conditions change, we'll be able to reopen it. And I want to talk a little bit about it, Stanley, with you. It was obvious when we put it together that it was difficult for you to even go through, I think, your legacy and try to pick. There were so many things to choose from.
You left all the good stuff.
Well, that's
all the interesting stuff.
Well, judging from the reviews, I think we got a lot of the good stuff because people love the show.
Well, it's all the major things that you took and left me with all my favorite stuff that I got to put up on the walls now.
So what's up here today is the new arrangement. When we came in, we just took what we saw. And there's always, but that's the point. There's so much you could never ever put it all up.
Well, the selection that you made was the best selection because it was all the historical examples of my work.
Yeah, and a lot of things I think that people that have been following you as a poster artist for a long, long time got to look at maybe for the first time seriously a lot of painting, a lot of your earlier stuff before the poster movement started. I mean, you've been doing this a long, long time, and it, I think, opened up the awareness about your, really broad success in this world. And so I definitely want to just say that when it does open again, we will let you all know about it. And we might even try to do a little bit of video from there in the near future, because it's going to be quiet, I'm afraid, for a while, because people should really see the collection that we put together. So you come here like every day, essentially, or
basically.
Yeah. And when you come in, do you have a project? I know your work, but when you come in, do you just think of things to do? You're always working.
No, there's probably about 30 things going on all at once.
Yeah.
All the time. So just trying to keep up with everything.
Yeah.
Plus work.
Yeah, but it seems that you don't relax unless you're drawing or you're thinking or you're doing one of the things like the other day you were airbrushing, which is something I want to ask you about, and hope that maybe you'll show us how that works.
I find that I'll have this constant anxiety of life, and then as soon as my paintbrush hits the canvas, it's gone, and something else takes over. A piece takes over.
So about the airbrushing. Again, referring to the show in San Francisco, we have a section that has to do with your very early artistic endeavors back in Detroit before you came to California. And it had to do with art that was inspired in the 50s. You were connected to the hot rods and the what you call your monster work.
Yeah, I think it's been dubbed like the rat paint genre.
Yeah.
But I noticed that my work recently is incorporating my hot rod stuff, monster stuff, and rock and roll stuff, and my fine art, maybe figurative or landscape, but it's kind of all gelled together recently, which I really like.
Well, we've seen a lot of, in fact, we were involved in taking some of your recent monster drawings and relating them to the coronavirus and the shutdown in San Francisco. We did some wheat pasting of your work up on the storefronts and the Haight. And interestingly enough, it was only a few doors away from where you had your first shop on Haight Street, Pacific Ocean Trading.
Right.
And we've referenced that on the internet. In fact, the mask that Stanley's wearing comes from one of those illustrations. It's the little corona bug, or whatever you might want to call it. But so, again, when I was here last, Stanley was airbrushing, and I was just taken by it because I'd never really seen it done. I've seen still pictures of him sitting there drawing with the airbrush, but it actually impressed me because it's almost like printing. It's like a 4-color process. It's not like you have a whole palette of colors, right?
Right, just 3 colors, red, blue, and yellow.
Yeah.
RGB.
And again, that craft came from.
That's the only part I don't get, sorry.
Yeah.
They say RGB, and I use red, blue, and yellow, not red, green, and yellow. And I don't know how you can, if I use green, how do you make purple? So I don't understand why they use green. It should be RBG, no. red, blue, and yellow. Because you can make every color from those 3 colors.
So did you take it up as you were just young, you were just getting out of school, and did it have to do with like the car scene and the pinstriping and the custom colors?
Was flaming cars, like in 1959. I was like 18 or 19. Flaming cars was popular, and so I got a spray gun. Tape off the flames and then spray them.
Yeah.
And I really like the movement, the freedom of movement with a spray gun rather than a pencil or a pen. And then people on the West Coast started airbrushing on sweatshirts. And so I bought an airbrush immediately, and the freedom of the airbrush where you can paint from the foreground as far back as you can see. Like there was no surface of the canvas or the shirt. You could paint into infinity, and I really liked that. It was fun.
And that led to your first line of like T-shirts and things like that, sweatshirts. You were doing that way before you came to California. And what you did out here was the basis for many, many T-shirts, believe me. Having seen how your art has been appropriated in all these different ways, it's truly a magnificent
When I was
story.
like 18 years old and painting these shirts, I thought if I could do 3 of them and sell them at the hot rod shop down the street, I could make $15 a week. And they sold 3 of them in a day, so I was off and running. Both my parents quit their jobs and went to work for me. And we did this big mail order business and advertised in all the hot rod magazines.
Yeah.
And I painted shirts for like almost 10 years, 8 years. And then I felt there was something new coming, and was trying to figure out what it was. And then I went to San Francisco, and they were doing posters. And so I said, this is it. I jumped into the fray.
So as I said, it would be, I'd love to see it again. And if you're interested or willing, would you show some airbrushing so we can show everybody that's watching? Cool. All right, so Stanley is set up to show us the fundamentals of airbrushing.
Well, I just wanted to show how painting with airbrush you can start off close up and go right back into the distance. And after painting a few shirts or painting for a while, then the surface disappears, and then you're just painting in this. It's fun to make eyeballs.
Very cool. And so the black is, you know, you have an object that's now kind of emerged, and then would you create the figure that way, and then take color and put it on top? And
I would probably pencil a light or charcoal light going in there, and then airbrush that.
Yeah.
This was a stretch canvas.
Yeah.
Where I drew this monster on it, and then airbrushed it. Tried to manicure the black. Yeah, he needs some hair, I think.
So in the early days, the shirts were all one-of-a-kind pieces then.
Yeah.
I mean, screen printing had to have gotten into it at some point.
At first I would airbrush these things like this and
Yeah.
charge $6.
Wow.
But they were crude and fast.
Yeah.
While doing this, I went to art school for about 8 years on and off. And art school was great, but painting shirts like this would be fun because people would show me a picture of their cat or their dog or
Yeah.
their sister
Yeah.
or their car. And I'd paint it for them on the shirt.
Yeah. Well, it's almost like they were like commissioned, you know. It was like,
Yeah. So I became like a virtuoso at drawing almost anything.
yeah, cool.
Right.
So all you do is blow air to clean out the line, and then you go to a color now, right?
Yeah, just wash out the brush.
Wow. I wanted to mention that Stanley's work, and we have a show this week that's opening up. Because of the corona, we're closed. The center's closed, but we're having a show that will be available online. 13 artists that we've worked with over the last 3 years. This is our anniversary, by the way. 3 years we've been open. Are going to submit pieces that are kind of off the normal, you know, track. Old, new, experimental, and we are going to put some of Stanley's work into the show. And is this one that we're going to offer, Stanley?
Yeah, sure.
So it's on our website. You'll see the information.
You see how the blue going over the red makes it
Yeah.
more purple?
Yeah.
And when it goes over the yellow, it makes it green.
Yeah, it's cool.
When it goes over the red and yellow, it makes it brown.
Well, thank you very much. I mean, I hope people enjoy it as I have. It's just fascinating stuff. Stanley.
This is one of the prints made by the Haight Street Art
Yeah.
Center of my work.
Yeah, this is part of in our retrospective, we put out a series of these more artistic interpretations of some of the images that Stanley's done over the years. They're really pretty. It's all online. Check it out if you're interested.
This was a John Lennon, when he died, I got the newspaper, the Chronicle, and I printed his picture on the paper.
Well, listen, Stanley, thank you very much. This is our first installment. I hope it works. We hope to do more of these things from time to time, and we couldn't be more excited and proud of being able to visit with Stanley Mouse. Haight Street Art Center, haightart.org is the website. Get on our mailing list and check us out. Thank you, Stanley.